Josiah, it's very nice seeing you today. Great job with sight reading and understanding these. The purpose of today that I was pulling out the xylophone for was just the basic concept that we have been doing these half-step movements on the ukulele. These are spider exercises, and as you said, your action and attention to detail has gotten a lot faster, so there's a little bit more speed and mobility. What I'd like you to do is start using your second finger on your right hand rather than using just your first finger. I think we've gotten you away from using just your thumb. We're getting that first finger nice and strong with these spiders. What I'd like you to do is start incorporating the second finger. So play with your middle finger as well. So you can do the spideys all the way up, 1, 2, 3, 4, do, 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 using the first finger, but then also do your second finger. And what happens is when you get really strong with your second finger and then your third finger, we do this other process with finger styles, so you know how to do 2 strings at once with both fingers. Or do counterpart melodies. What I'm going to be taking you through here is these majors and minors. So this week, I just want you to see in the D major, we've got our D. Our D has these 3 down and our A is open. All I gotta say is you gotta just work at that one little thing to put your fingers down there, push real hard, and then lift the back end. I think maybe one of the reasons why the D is a little harder is that the thumb is in the back position incorrectly. The thumb shouldn't be choking the neck of this guy. It should be lightly placed on the back, a little bit below the middle part of it, just as a centerpiece where you could actually just keep it up and down. The movements of the chords and the melodies actually come just from the fingers and the fingertips. When you hold the ook against your body, you can intrinsically feel it resonating through you. And what you'll find is you're hardly ever going to be using your thumb to get positioning rather than just hold a nice footing on the back for you. You don't want to press too hard, but you don't want to not put your thumb on there at all. Eventually, you're going to be using your thumb in different places for different chords and different melodies. But for right now, try and keep the thumb a little bit below the middle part on the back here and pointing up. Not ever pointing through the headstock, but maybe cat corner if you need to hit a couple of these. So our D major, try and play with the second finger, first finger, and the third finger, because when you take the third finger and you scoot it up to the 4th fret and lay down your first finger on the 2nd fret, it makes the E major, as you know. Different from the E minor, but very close. What happens is you build muscle memory, as you know, and these chords become easier to play. Today what we were showing through the eyes of the C major to the D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C, that in the key of D with the 2 sharps, you're quite literally doing the same thing you did in C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. It's just those shapes kind of change for you depending on what note you're playing and where you're playing. So what we're going to be doing is enforcing just a couple more songs. They have some rhythm, and what I like to do is just go through all of our scales. I'm going to do the C major for you because that's the one we're most comfortable with, but then I'm going to do the D major, and I'll go on to that G major as well, just to show you can do it in every key. All right, C major. C major goes to a D minor. D minor goes to an E minor. E minor goes to an F major. F major goes to a G major. G major goes to an A minor. An A minor goes to the G7, but we're actually calling it a B diminished, as you know. And that resolves. It always resolves to the C major. So in the key of D, we've got 2 sharps. D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, and then our 7th tone, C sharp diminished, resolves to the D. The reason why those are exactly the same is because I was quite literally playing the exact same fingering, or exact same chord, just with my secondary fingering. Did you notice that in the first one I played the B diminished like this, and then in the second one I played like this? It's just scoot up to the C and laying down a bar ground on the 2nd fret. So the same thing happens from the D sharp diminished to an E major. Does that make sense? So E major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor. Ooh, almost played that wrong. G sharp minor. What comes after a G? A major, B major, C minor, C sharp minor. And here's where our D sharp diminished comes. resolves to a E major. So as you can see, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do depends directly on whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So what I'd like you to do this week is to associate D major with, and then after D major you have an E minor. And if you start that same scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, drop the first note and add a note, you'll have D major. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, D to E minor, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp. See this? D, E. I'm just going up another note. After the E, I've got F sharp minor, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. After F sharp, I've got G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. All the way up. See, when we move our fingers in these patterns, they become melodies. So what you notice while you're playing your spider exercises and your mom commented on is you're able to actually play these notes now, and there's more precision, I guess. There's more attention to detail, so I could absolutely see that you've been practicing, and that is wonderful. Now it's tying together the book smarts you have with reading from the book we've been doing and the actual process of playing. So what we're going to be doing is picking a couple songs this next week and playing through them. But the first way we're going to do this is just playing through our scales in a whole chord format, as well as knowing them by their scale and their root. So if I was in the key of F and I know that there's one flat in F, it's a B flat, I would have F major. If I needed to struggle on how to find my next note, I would say A, B, C, D, E, F, know that it's going to be G. And in a major, I know that my secondary, and you know, it's going to be a minor. So we'd have F major, G minor, A minor, B flat major, C major, D minor, and then E would be our diminished. And our diminished would resolve to our F major. So when we're looking at these, we know how to build these triads. So if we were to write down all of our letters in the key of D and know we have D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D, that my C diminished is going to contain that C sharp, or that C sharp diminished is going to contain that C sharp. I'm going to skip D, I'm going to go to E, I'm going to skip F sharp, and I'm going to go to G. So my C sharp diminished has a C sharp, and E, and a G tone, which that triad makes up my diminished for the resolution. Back in that triad. And I know that you know this because I've seen you do it. So for this next week, play your D major scale and then play your D major chords associated. The full chord D major. D major has a D, A, D, and an F sharp. E minor has an E, G, and a B. F sharp, basically where we're F sharp, A, and a C sharp. When we go through the G, B, and a D, you'd have your G major. Then after that, you'd have your A major, A, C sharp, and E. Your B minor will have a B, E, and G, and then your diminished is a, as we said, C sharp, E, and G. When we go through all these, you can definitely see that your fingers are laying out these triads, and the melodies come from those. So what we're going to be doing is influencing a couple different songs next week and seeing where we can move with those. We're going to get you rocking here. All right, it's great seeing you. I'll see you next week. Aloha.